Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for Grow My Bag TV, and today is Sunday Roundup. There is a lot going on. There's a lot going on going forward, and there's a lot going on going back. Let's take a look at what we had going backward. So, of course, we had Avalanche going down a lot, right? It was down for a few hours. And my question about Avalanche going down for a few hours is, what did Citi have to say about that? You forgot? Okay. So Avalanche was in a deal with Citi to run a POC, proof of concept, to tokenize assets, to tokenize specifically stocks. So that's going to be a big deal. And I'd like to know, how that fallout is going to happen. I want to hear if anything comes up. And that's looking forward, taking from the back and looking forward, right? Some of the other stuff that we're going to get into today, we had technological advancements and integrations. We had embracing of smart contracts by a specific project that everybody just thought, not a big deal about the project. Not exactly true. Then we have revolutionizing blockchain with palm recognition. We have regulatory updates and legal battles. We've got financial results and market trends, security incidents and risk management, market behavior and investment strategies, investor outlook and predictions, and business developments and partnerships. So there's a lot to actually go through that we went through last week, and we probably didn't stop to put it all together. So what I like to do on Sundays is actually take a look back over the past week and see if I can kind of pull everything together in a cognizant form so I can actually understand everything that went on from a big picture perspective, right? Because sometimes you get news that kind of threads through the week. They're kind of related, right? And then I want to try to understand how all that happens and how it all plays together. So let's start with the technology advancements, right? So Injective introduces CW-404 Standard, right? That standard aims to bring Ethereum investments to the Injective network, which is kind of a big deal. So that increases accessibility as well as, enabling other financial use cases. That's huge because Injective is not, sorry, my hand hurts. Injective is not a small project. It's actually a very popular project. So when you sit back and look at that, that's actually a big deal. Something else that happened in technological advancements, Stellar has adopted smart contracts. Now everybody looks at Stellar and they kind of go, Stellar's not a big deal, blah, 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 blah. Stellar is a big deal. Stellar's technology is similar to XRP's. Stellar's technology is cheap when it comes to actually paying for fees and all that good stuff. Stellar's network is actually fast, so it's something that we should be paying attention to. Stellar's network is also leveraged around the world. Now, with that said, when you say, now Stellar's going to have smart contracts, well, now you're talking. Think about the use cases that smart contracts can have. So, I don't know. DeFi projects, dApps, the whole bunch of things that open up to Stellar having smart contracts. That's what I'm going to be looking forward to in the coming months. Then you have palm recognition. And you think, that's not a big deal. Well, Humanity Protocol has adopted palm recognition, which is proof of humanity for Web3 projects. Now, what's that? Now, that's the idea of, I know that what this entity is a human being. When you're looking in the Web3 space, I really want you to put this together. The advancements in automation, artificial intelligence, and all the advancements in Web3, right? Put that all together. I could be looking at a well-programmed bot. Then take a look at palm recognition that, this entity can be identified as a human being. Now I know who I'm dealing with. That makes a very big difference as you start to look at Web3 and the metaverse and everything else. So that's why I'm saying we need to pay attention to some of these technological developments going forward. So that's what I'm looking for. What else is going on? So I will be paying attention to the Humanity Protocol. That's, to me, is very interesting. All right. Now, something else, regulatory updates and legal battles. Yes, I'm reading over my notes. Legal updates and legal battles. So we have a whole bunch of crypto giants suing the SEC out in Texas. I told you that's a big deal. Now, I'm not going to go through on Sundays. I'm not going to go through, each bullet point in depth. Why is that? Because I already did the video and all of the articles are already up on growmybag.tv. So this is a recap, but a well-organized recap of everything that's going on. So we can kind of take, again, that holistic approach to what's going on in key frames, right? So I'm sitting there, I'm looking at this and I'm going, companies like Riot, Coinbase, Kraken, a couple of other entities have taken the SEC to task, saying, hey, look, listen, your rules and regulations, or lack thereof, constitute overreach. And we're not having it. We're not having it. We're just saying, nope, not going to happen. All done with that. So they're taking them to court. And I want you to, I'm really paying attention to this because I'm sitting back and I'm going, the SEC used to go after companies, and now companies are gunning for the SEC. You want to go at companies? Great, not a problem. Set the rules, set the regulations, take a pragmatic approach to working with the industry so that you can keep the industry on guardrails, but free to innovate. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. It's going to be harder than let me just enforce some hidden rules and regulations on whatever companies I feel like today. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm all about companies taking the SEC to task. It's a very big deal, and I think it needs to happen. So yeah, looking at a more global perspective, you have the UK proposing new regulations for crypto-related services and stablecoins in the UK. Then on top of that, you have the ECB coming out and saying even more crazy things negative about crypto. And I sit there and I laugh. Right? So let's break it down. So looking at the UK, the idea of trying to set up regulatory frameworks for stable coins is a big deal. Good move. Is it perfect? Not in the slightest. Is it a smart move? Yes, because you're moving in the right direction. You're moving in the right direction. You're at least starting to try to gain an understanding of what stablecoins are, how stablecoins work, why they're important, and how they should be regulated. Thank you very much. Looking at the ECB, I'm sitting back and I'm going, oh, you're stuck. You're stuck in a major fashion. And the reason why is because not for the most part, but for a lot of European economies, they're struggling. They're hurt and they're struggling. And the ECB is all about not having crypto because they want their own CBDCs, right? And you sit there and you just kind of go, oh, so you're crying because these things already exist. And you're having a hard time understanding why any of your CBDCs should exist. You're having a hard time with Bitcoin because Bitcoin is a very big deal. Now, I'm trying to understand how the ECB is going against companies that control trillions of dollars. BlackRock, Fidelity, 21 Shares, ARK Invest, whole slew of other companies. Why am I going to listen to you and you're saying the exact opposite of what these companies are doing? Flailing in the wind is what I'm saying. You're flailing in the wind. You couldn't come up with a way to beat crypto mathematically. It's all a numbers game. It's all a whole numbers thing, right? So you couldn't figure that out. And you're freaking out because of the popularity of crypto and its adoption rate. That's why you're freaking out. That's why you're freaking out. So yeah, I'm paying attention to what's going on a global scale because a lot of these countries, some of them are doing the right moves and a lot of them are doing the wrong moves. And all it's going to do is feed more adoption and interest into the crypto space. And you wonder why I'm positive. This is why I'm positive. Because the more you squeeze, the more people are going to do what you're trying to squeeze them not to do. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. What's up next? We have financial results and market trends. BlackRock is doing well. BlackRock's significant investment in Bitcoin signals growing acceptance of crypto as a viable asset class and blurs the lines between traditional and digital finance. I'm not going to say it. No, Sherlock. It's very true. It's very true. When you look, and it's not just BlackRock, right? It's all of the companies that have been approved of Bitcoin spot ETFs. A lot of those companies are now also going for Ethereum spot ETFs. And I keep telling people, there's a humongous difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Store of value use cases versus actionable use cases. There's a big difference in how I'm going to leverage Bitcoin and how I'm going to leverage Ethereum ERC20, tokens and projects. Both of those going would be huge. And of course, people are also speculating about who's going to go after an XRP spot ETF. I don't know if I go for that one. There are a lot of other coins that I could see that could fare well with a spot ETF. And somebody could actually make the argument that, all of the coins, not tokens, all of the coins that are out there could be open to having a spot ETF. Solana, Cardano, right? Even Litecoin, even Stellar. Anything operating on its own chain, you could actually stop and think about, that's a possible, spot ETF. Is it going to happen? I don't think so. Here's why. People want to be involved in Bitcoin, but they don't want to deal with Bitcoin directly. Hence, they get involved with a Bitcoin spot ETF, or they get involved with something else. And that could be, here are some miners that I can invest in. Or here are companies like MicroStrategy that I can invest in, or even Block. Yeah, that's right. Block made $270 million off of their holdings. I mean, unrealized gains, but still gains. So I can make indirect investment to have a play in crypto. So that's one. Two, once I'm used to a Bitcoin spot ETF, and if an Ethereum spot ETF comes along, right? I'm going to be used to how it works, how it happens. The more that it happens over there, the more that you're going to see people start to go, I can go buy some crypto. You want to know how easy it is to buy coins, to buy Bitcoin? I have a client and they didn't know how to buy Bitcoin. I said, I prefer to be paid in Bitcoin. My company prefers to be paid in Bitcoin. Sure, no problem. Have you ever paid somebody in Bitcoin before? Nope. Would you like me to tell you how? Sure. You have Cash App? Of course. Hit Cash App, click this, click that, and now you're able to purchase Bitcoin. Once you're done clicking that, here's my QR code, here's my address, my wallet address. Send me my crypto. Boom. Boom. Right? It's so easy. It's so easy. If somebody says, I'd rather be paid in crypto, to hit up Cash App, snatch some crypto, and send them their Bitcoin, right? Because Cash App does Bitcoin. PayPal, on the other hand, will allow you to buy crypto, to buy, different cryptos. Here's the problem. I would not buy on crypto on PayPal. Here's why. When you buy on PayPal, it has to stay on PayPal. It's not like Cash App where I can purchase Bitcoin and I can send and receive Bitcoin. Okay, big difference. And I can cash out. So it's an on-ramp and an off-ramp, and I can trade in and out off of Cash App to do what I want to do. Because sometimes, and I was just talking to somebody about it via chat, where we're looking at the cost of Bitcoin on Block, right? Versus elsewhere. And sometimes you notice that Block's price is lower. I'll purchase Bitcoin anywhere, but But I will be paying attention to how much money is it here versus how much money is it there, because I want to take advantage of the arbitrage. Don't hate. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm paying attention to that, those on-ramps and off-ramps, who's doing what and how they're doing it. Block is reporting positive. So if I'm going to be looking at investments, I might be looking at indirect investments, which could be a Block, could be a PayPal. I'd get PayPal for other reasons, but they do have a little bit of exposure to crypto. Like I said, Riot and other miners I could buy into, other companies that hold significant crypto. And here's something to consider. There are a lot of companies out there that are now saying, damn, maybe we should be holding crypto as an investment. There are a lot of companies that have a lot of money on hand and can't find a good company to buy. And they're saying, well, if we can't buy a company, is Bitcoin or other cryptos, are those good things to invest in? And they're literally having those conversations right now. Literally. So you want to think about how that affects? Reddit just filed for their IPO. They just filed their S1. Take this in. They hold a significant amount of Bitcoin, of Ethereum, of Matic, Polygon. So this is a company that is not involved in crypto, but have significant holdings in crypto because of business ideas that they want to do, and because they were good investments. This is why. So when I think about what the ECB is doing, talking all that nonsense in other countries, even other companies, even other CEOs like Jamie Dimon, talking crap about crypto, I sit there and I just go, sorry, I can't buy into that. I can't buy into that. You're talking out of your neck, as they say. Well, as they said when I was growing up in the Bronx. So yeah, I'm paying attention to that stuff, right? When I think about security incidents, so what's happened? So you had an Ethereum heist on the Ronin network. Apparently, one of the co-founders of Axie Infinity had his Ronin wallet hacked for $9.5 million. I have not done any more research on that to see if he was able to get back some of that money. Apparently, it was stolen and immediately put on Tornado Cash, or the Tornado network. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, wow. So they wanted to, confuse people of that money real fast. So how they would be able to stop it, I don't know. How he might be able to recover that, I don't know. Maybe not. But luckily, it was specifically his account, that was his wallet that was targeted. They did what they did. Hence, you should be paying attention to everything that's going out there, right? Going on out there. FTX, once a large-scale movements from Bitcoin, I'm sorry, the wrong one. FTX, efforts to reimburse locked customers' funds on FTX digital markets following a bankruptcy proceeding. They're allowed to start paying people back, and they're starting to accept credit, the applications from their creditors. That's actually a very big deal. It's a very big deal. They were a part of, I think they were approved to sell a certain number of shares of Bitcoin or something like that. So I'm looking at Bitcoin and I'm saying there's a lot of downward pressure. And I normally don't get into numbers, over the weekend. And I'm not really going to get into numbers now, but I am going to tell you about a trend. There has been a lot of downward pressure on Bitcoin. A lot of downward pressure on Bitcoin. But Bitcoin has been ridiculously resilient, hasn't it? It got pushed down into the 50s, into the 50,000 mark, just below 51, and it came back. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying, with that much downward pressure, that resistance, that resilience of Bitcoin at that point, yeah, I'm possibly looking at maybe we hit 53,000 this week. And you go, why would you be thinking that with all that downward pressure? Because the downward pressure can only last but for so long. It can only last but for so long before the shorts get crushed, between things starting to even out, before the positivity of projects coming out there. it starts to happen. It starts to happen. And that's why I'm thinking we could see 53. And if we see 53, we're going to see more than that. That's my feeling. Could we go lower? Of course we can. I just think that things are they're kind of feeling like they're going to go positive. We're moving laterally right now, but I feel like we're moving in a positive fashion. Like just the overall feeling of everything is positive. And what else is going on? We've got market behavior and investment strategies, miners and Bitcoin movements. Well, let's talk about that. I touched on that a little while ago. Large scale movements by Bitcoin miners to be offloading about, what was it, 700? I forgot the number. Dog, it's killing me. I forgot the exact number. I'd have to go back to all my notes, and I don't feel like doing that right now. But you have Bitcoin miners dumping Bitcoin in a major fashion. They weren't dumping to bring it down. They were dumping because they need more rigs. They need more output. They need more capabilities. That's a positive. The immediate it's a negative push on Bitcoin, but the actual end game is a positive push on Bitcoin because there are going to be more rigs going on, more bandwidth, more power, more capabilities. Why? Because of the halving event. So yeah, that's been a lot. And all of that has been moved through over-the-counter transactions, basically direct peer-to-peer transactions, as to not affect the market directly. Because when you're talking about hundreds, even thousands of Bitcoin being moved, that could really sway the market. So it happens via OTC. But I'm paying attention to that, right? Investors are thinking, well, things are looking up. Just like I said, things are just straight up looking up. So I'm liking that. In terms of business developments and partnerships, I told you about Avalanche and Citi and a couple of other companies doing the whole, tokenization of crypto. I told you about how Avalanche went down for a few hours when I'm trying to look to see how that's going to be affected going forward. Then you have Paris Saint-Germain football or soccer, depending on where you're from, hooking up with Chili's. Why is that? Because they're going to become a validator so they can grow the coffers for Chili's. Well, let me see what my notes actually say, because that's not the term. It's partnership with Chili's, and it highlights the potential of blockchain technology for future fan engagement and, energizes the sports space. That's what's huge. They also want reserves. They're growing their reserves. So I'm sitting back and I'm going, so Chili's, one, is not dead. Two, the teams out there really do like what Chili's is bringing to the table. So yes, didn't do jack for the world during the World Cup. Big build up before and during, it just crashed. Killed me. I used to have a bag of Chili's, got rid of the bag of Chili's. I took a negative, but it was just below break even. I was so mad. But then you see something like this and you're going, wow. I mean, I knew Chili's was gonna come back, but it was a matter of when. Well, now we know. Now we flipping know. So as I look forward, there are a few things that I'm looking at. Again, I'm looking for Bitcoin to go positive just because I have this positive feeling. Just what I'm seeing in the news and during all my research, I just have a very positive feeling. I think we're going to do better than just moving laterally. Now, again, do I think that we could go down? Yes. But in my bones, I'm just thinking, why do I feel so good about 53? Like I don't have anything substantive that tells me 53 is it. But man, I feel good about that number. I just feel really good about that number. I don't know why. I just want to go look at the chart right now. It might crash. But I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, this could be a good thing. Really could be a good thing. Just give me a moment. Actually, I'll take you on the ride. Excuse me. So this is what I want to see. You see my bands show up. And remember, I told you I wanted to create this band. I wanted to see where we were going to be. Technically, I could raise this up a little bit. I really could raise this up a little bit. Because right there is where those two kind of come close to meeting. So if I'm looking at these numbers, and these numbers I come across because of these two and this one, right? But you see how we're trading in a very lateral fashion. And usually when we trade laterally for a little while, yes, we took a dip here, but then we came back up. As we started trading laterally, we took a dip up. And this is what I mean, could happen right here. Like we could be trading laterally and take a dip down, take a gradual dip down, and then start to battle back up. Look how long we were in this space. Look how long we were in my yellow band. And in between my blue bands and my yellow band, we didn't spend a lot of time here. We peaked, we passed it. Right? We peaked right here. We came through it, we peaked right here, even touched it up here, and then we went right back down, and we dipped, and then we came back, and now we're hitting this new lateral space. Again, I think this lateral space, I think there's another move that could bring us back up, bring us above 53. Technically back up above 53. And I don't know why. I just feel really, really, really good about it. Don't ask me why. I didn't put my watermark on before. That's really bad. But this is what I'm looking for the next week, right? I'm looking for positive news about Bitcoin, especially on the contract side. But really, I look at Bitcoin as store of value versus Ethereum, versus coins like Ethereum and tokens that play to me more like adoption plays. Right? When people say adoption, it's, oh, who wants to be involved in Bitcoin and blah, blah, blah. To me, adoption is who's actually going to be using these coins for payments. That's what I'm looking for, the various use cases that are there. I want to see more developments from that Stellar doing the whole what was it? The 404 piece. Where are my notes? I hate referencing things and not knowing what the hell I'm talking about. There you go. CW-404. I'm sitting back. Well, that was Injective, but Stellar embracing smart contracts. I'm sitting back and I'm going, I want to hear more news about that. I want to hear about, well, who's taking advantage of those smart contracts? Are there any DeFi projects that are going to come along and hop on Stellar? That is a major, major thing. It opens up a lot of different use cases for Stellar. So I'm sitting back and I'm just going, I want to hear something about that. I want to hear some whispers about the Ethereum spot ETFs. Again, I'm not expecting any decisions before May. I had hoped for March. Clearly, that's not going to happen. But I do have hopes for May. If nothing happens in May, I'm afraid that we could wind up having a bunch of companies just say, you know what? Screw this. We're going to sue the SEC. Because they're not moving fast enough on something that has a playbook. The playbook is how you handled the Bitcoin spot ETFs. There's no reason to be sitting on Ethereum spot ETFs. Get up off your butt, do your job. It's not that difficult. So you have the playbook. Hester Pierce, crypto mom, says there shouldn't be a reason to have to go to court to make this happen. And there's no reason for Ethereum spot ETFs not to happen. So these are things that I'm looking at over the next week or so. All right. I'm hoping to also find out what kind of news do we have out of Avalanche because they went down, and how that affects their DeFi projects and other tokenization projects that they have going on. Because they're involved in a few. They really are. Avalanche is getting a lot of news about it, but I'm telling you, Polygon is also involved in a few. They had that whole DeFi transaction that happened months ago that I told you about, involving DBS. I think Chase was involved with that. There are a lot of financial institutions that are involved with that whole DeFi thing. Something else that I'm looking for, and I almost forgot to mention this, I'm looking for banks, traditional finance, to start redefining what you get from a bank. That's also what I'm looking for. Because the redefinition of what people expect from a bank or should expect from a bank has drastically changed. I know a lot of people that, why would I put my money in a bank? I'll put my money in crypto. I keep a certain amount of cash in the bank to manage what I'm going to manage. That requires cash. And I keep the rest of it in crypto. Oh, Stitch found something. Oops. And that's what I'm paying attention to. All right. So that's what I'm expecting over the next week. I don't know if tomorrow is going to be a big news day. We'll see. But I'm expecting March to be really, really cool. I'm expecting March to be really, really cool. Right now, I'm looking up because I want to see how many days. The halving event is 60 days away. I'm looking at it right now. 60 days away. And as we get closer, I'm expecting more and more positive growth. Something else that's positive. I'm a hair away from sending. Actually, I'm sending the my book over to the designer to lay out the book, like over the next couple of days. I've already created a pool of questions, right? Because the book is supposed to support the 2-hour class, and the questions are for the exam after the class. And I guarantee you, everybody that's out there, the things they know everything about crypto, some of these questions are going to stump you. Some of these questions will have you scratching your head. And it's not meant to like issue a certificate. You know, I'm not an educational facility, but it is to help people get a grasp of what crypto is. A lot of people out there have wallets, are just buying crypto because they hear this is what they should be doing. And what this book and what the class is supposed to do is give you that foundation on how things work, a little bit about the history of crypto, the different use cases of crypto, things like that, the foundations that you need, instead of just let me go out and buy some crypto because so-and-so said so. Nope, that's not how I do things. I do my research, and that's what my book is about. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Today was the Sunday Roundup. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do like what I'm doing, do me a favor, drop me a note. I love hearing from you guys. And something else that I like, if I'm doing something that you think I can do better, let me know. Let me know. I'd greatly appreciate that. Again, I do all this for my kids so that they can actually learn, and I'm just sharing what I'm sharing with my kids. I'm just sharing it with you. But if I can improve, that would be helpful. If you have information for me that I don't know or I haven't spoken about, let me know. If you're going to ask me to look at a coin, hit me up on growmybag.tv. That's where I'll pay attention to you. All right? Hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.